Yeah, sis and tell, a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, it's the place you wanna be. Sis and tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, I have so much to tell you.
Okay, first, hold on. Before you jump in, I have to tell you, those glasses are fabulous.
I know. I'm adorable. Aren't they the cutest glasses? They're so cute. So wait,
people can't see your glasses, so describe them because they look great on your face.
They're round and they're like a mixture between tortoiseshell and like cheetah print.
It's exactly. Yeah, you did that is a spot on description. That's exactly what they look like.
And here's the thing. I have like I have like a narrow face. It's long. So one time someone told me I have a square jaw and that I'd look better with round glasses. And somebody was this is actually a story. When Aaron and I lived in New York in our early 20s, Mademoiselle did this magazine spread on women from every 50 states that lived in New York. And then they gave them a makeover and they had like a before and after. So I represented Alabama. And when I sent them a picture, I made sure I thought they would do like the opposite or whatever of whatever makeup I was wearing. So, and I wanted like a heavier eye. So I did like no eye makeup, heavy lipstick. And then they said they were looking for people with glasses, right? So I put my glasses on, which was a mistake because they picked me for Alabama, right? They cut my hair. I had
when was this? I have no recollection of this.
It was in like 2000.
Wow. Okay.
I still have the magazine. I'll take a picture of it and put it up. But my hair was already short, right? And they're like, you need to grow out your hair. They made it more of an afro. And then they gave me like an orange tint. And then they put on these glasses I just did not like. Now I would like them. But back then I just didn't. So I'll post it. But they're the ones who told me I had a square jaw. And I was like, screw you. That seemed like I was like, that sounds so mean. But no, I do. I have a square jaw. And I've always worn like square glasses. But these round ones, they look good on me.
No, they look so good on you. And
they're
also,
$35.
Wait, with the prescription?
Yes.
$35?
Right. Yeah. These websites.
Are they online? What is it?
Yeah. There are all these websites where you can get funky glasses. And I had a pair I got from, what was it called? Oh my God. I forget. Zenni. It was called Zenni. Because every time I'd run into someone wearing amazing glasses, I'd be like, where'd you get those? And they'd say Zenni. So I went on Zenni recently. I just couldn't find anything that I loved. But then, of course, Facebook's like, she's searching for glasses.
Right.
So Facebook started sending me all these ads. And I found this new website. So I got these and another pair for $35. The other pair.
And the prescription feels good. It doesn't feel cheap.
It feels fine. And these are really light frames. So they don't hurt my nose, which is always a problem. But the other pair is so big on me, you can like see my face inside the glasses. You know what I'm talking about? They're so big. They look like those comically large glasses that people put on. And my face is like inside the lenses.
Do you like them or you are returning
No,
those?
they're too big. I can't return them, but they were $35.
Oh, you can't return. See,
so really,
like Warby Parker, right? Which is the very well-known, online, and they have, I think, retail, they have a few retail stores, but they have the most amazing return policy. I mean, no questions asked.
Shame on me because I didn't digitally try them on, but there was no option to try
Shame on you for not digitally trying them on.
But it was, so really it's like $70 for these glasses, which is still cheap.
Yeah.
And
I told you about, so I don't wear glasses, but I've, Abe and Levi have both worn glasses since they were 2. So, I've been through many a pair buying for them. And now that Abe is 18, he likes the more fashionable kind. So we did buy a pair at Warby Parker when we were in Birmingham. They had a retail store, and this was a few years ago. So he actually tried them on. I mean, and then when they came, the prescription didn't feel right and the glasses weren't right. And look, I love Warby Parker. I know mommy's had a great experience with them, but I might have told you this before. The best part of that whole experience was I made the return. No questions asked. They weren't even like, well, tell us what happened. I just said they didn't fit right. The style wasn't right. Great, we'll take them back. And they were already made. I mean, they were already
Wow.
prescription made. And afterwards, she took them back, gave me an immediate refund, sent like the shipping back was free. I get an email saying, "Thank you so much for using Warby Parker. Your customer service agent Veronica, right, is so pleased to have helped you. Did she do a good job?" And then you like do a thumbs up or thumbs down. "Oh, you said thumbs up. Well, we would like to reward Veronica. What should we give her as a reward for her customer service?" This was the most fun part of the whole exchange. So then they had 3 options to choose from. And I think I have to remember them, but like one was a free cup of coffee. Like we're going to give her a cup of coffee. One was maybe like a special treat. And one was a surprise gift, right? And I was like, definitely the surprise gift. I mean, hello, who doesn't love a surprise?
Great company to work
Isn't
for,
that a
and
great
to
company to work
interact with.
for. Yeah. So not only did they make me feel great about returning something where I would totally have shopped there again if we needed them, but it made me feel great about the people who work there because
Yeah.
they really care about honoring and valuing them. So I just love that story.
I love that. So
Sorry, back to you. You've been very busy and have
right.
a great
It's well,
story
it's
to report.
it's not really back to me. It's back to me talking about you and the misadventures of Amanda searching for this bagel recipe. So if you're just now tuning in, Allison has requested for her 50th birthday, and you are like so hard to buy gifts for, that I tracked down this bagel recipe from a now defunct deli in Birmingham, Alabama, where we grew up. It closed down 11 years ago. There's this egg bagel recipe, egg bagel we used to eat all the time growing up.
All the
and
time.
it was half baked, right? And when they closed down, Mommy asked for the recipe, or Daddy did, and they said, no way. So I've been trying to track it down and realize that a friend I grew up with, she's like the granddaughter of the people who owned it.
Oh.
So I immediately went to her. And she's like, we don't have it. Sorry. And I was like, can you ask? Maybe we can find the baker, right? The like head baker. He's dead. I'm like, okay. So then she's like,
this is going to turn into a documentary. Seriously. You should have started recording it from the beginning.
I know. You don't even know the half of it, Allison.
I'm so excited. See, this is why, let me also, the caveat being that I'm going to be 50, so it's a big birthday in a few weeks, and I'm not really into birthdays. I am into my 50th. I think half a century is remarkable, and for anybody, right? People, tortoises, I don't know. So I don't know why I said that, but so I think 50 is a great opportunity to celebrate. And I'm not really into gifts as much as I am into experiences. And that's what I told Alan, that this was going to be the year of like amazing, incredible experiences, whether that meant being able, and really it was about celebrating other people because
it's your
everybody
fault?
I know. Yes.
So the pandemic is your fault because
The pandemic is my fault. I wanted a remarkable experience. Yeah.
Historical.
I wanted something memorable. And sorry, folks, be careful what you wish for. We'll put it in that category. Be careful what you wish for. So anyway, reliving our childhood through a recreated Brody's bagel is really, I can't imagine a more exciting experience, not just for me, but the whole family you will go down in Goldstein history as saving the Brody bagel. Do you understand that?
I don't know. So she's like, we don't have the recipe. Then I messaged her again and said, can you ask your uncle? And this is only because Mommy keeps on prompting me to like harass them.
Oh, you've got Mommy involved.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Well, Mommy and Daddy were going to call them. And then I found my friend Becky, who is the granddaughter. So I just don't understand why they don't. Like you made a cookbook of all of Mimi's recipes, right?
Right.
Like they're so sacred. It's baffling to me that they don't have the recipes, and it hurts my heart, right? So then I made this Facebook post before I messaged Becky, and then when I messaged her the last time and said,
so Becky's the one who's your age.
She's a few years older.
Okay.
But so I made this Facebook post before I even started messaging her, being like, hey, who do you know Birmingham that worked at Brody's? Right? Because I was going to reverse engineer the people. I wasn't going to start at the owners. I wanted to start at people who worked in the kitchen. So
Oh,
When
that's
the last,
smart. They
so the
know. They are
last
the
time,
keepers of the secrets.
right. So the last time I messaged her, I said, "Can you ask your uncle?" Right? Maybe he knows. And so she replied to me in that Facebook post and just said, "If I knew the bagel recipe, I would be making their challah." So that got me thinking, maybe,
Oh,
maybe the bagel recipe uses the challah dough.
that's
And
really interesting.
because if you think about the Birmingham bagel, it's a half-baked egg bagel. It didn't really look like a
And
bagel.
it
It didn't
didn't
taste
taste
like
like
a
a bagel,
bagel,
but we
right?
called it a bagel. It's like
And
the
it's
opposite of if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. So if it looks like a mini challah and tastes like a mini challah,
maybe it's a
maybe it's a mini
challah.
challah.
So, but before I got there, a few things happened. Okay. Number one, I spoke with Joel Silverman, one of my best friends who is so good at baking and just cooking anything.
But not
He
just
said,
that, he's like good at deconstructing sort of the chemical
yes.
elements of everything, not just food, but drink, everything.
So
Yes.
he had me, and I was channeling my inner Arlene Goldstein. He had me call the King Arthur bread flour hotline. And yes, there is one.
I
And
love
you
King Arthur flour. It's the best bread flour. We've discussed
Yeah.
this. It's the
So
best.
I called the hotline, I chit-chatted with them. They said you should try these other recipes because maybe it's not. Because I kept on saying it's like a challah meets a bagel. They probably they thought I was a crazy person, right? She did not want to talk to me about all my anecdotes, unfortunately. But I was like, if Brody's had been before their time, it was like the cronut,
Right,
right?
right.
They could have been saying this is a half bagel, half challah. It's a bala. It's a chagel.
It's a chagel. It's a chagel. Mazel tov.
It's a chagel, right? And I tried to explain it as, look, if the New Yorkers saw this thing, they'd be like, nah, they'd be like, that is not a bagel.
Yeah.
That is not a bagel. And it's like your grandmother made a bagel and you knew it didn't taste like a bagel or look like a bagel, but you still loved it because your
Yeah.
grandmother made it and it was delicious. So
And just on an aside, so I have never made bagels before, but I have been perfecting my challah recipe, and now
yeah,
I'm thinking about it, and it makes total sense.
yes.
And I can even like figure out like the yellowness. I'm sure is because they did a lot of egg yolks. I mean, it
So
has to be the yolks.
and we're gonna get there.
Oh gosh, this is so exciting.
But
See,
and I'm
this is why this is the best birthday present ever, because you're coupling my need for a remarkable experience with my love for a great story. So this is luck. You've already given me the best gift ever, and it's not even over.
even though this is okay. So then I started thinking, it tastes like a bagel your grandmother would make. Maybe I need to do a search for egg bagel recipe. The internet is so weird. Has like 2 bagel recipes for egg bagels. Very bizarre. Not a very popular bagel.
And by the way, I was not because I need to micromanage every process, but I sort of do as the firstborn. I also did a search for egg bagel, and what I came up with was like a huge number of recipes for egg in a bagel, right? There weren't a lot of like egg bagels. They just kept wanting to put eggs in bagels. I'm like, no, egg bagel. So, yes.
And this is the internet we're talking about. The internet.
The worldwide internet.
This is the World Wide Web, and there are 2 egg bagel recipes. Makes no sense. So I'm like, where can I get grandma's egg bagel recipe? So I go to our beloved cookbook from the 1970s that Mommy has gifted us from the Temple Bethel in
The
Birmingham,
Joy of Life,
Alabama.
is that, or the
Cook
the
and
Joy
Tell.
of Cooking? Oh, Cook and Tell. Okay, I
Cook
can
and
picture.
Tell. So I go into the bread section. There's literally one egg bagel recipe, and you will not believe who submitted the egg bagel recipe.
A Brody.
No, I was hoping
Oh gosh, who?
Bertha Levine.
No way. So not only does Bertha Levine make, what was it? Hot dogs, Frank's,
and hot potato salad.
the Frank and hot potato salad, but she has an egg bagel recipe.
So I think I blew out the microphone when I just left.
I think you did. Now you're going to have to explain it for anybody who didn't listen to that episode, right?
So we did this. We had one of my favorite episodes where we talked about what that journalist who goes through the phone book and randomly interviews people. So I'm like, let's do that, but from the Sisterhood cookbook. And we landed on based on the recipe, right? That's what we want to interview someone. And we found Frank's and Hot Potato Salad by Bertha Levine. Could not find Bertha Levine, but it became this like huge ordeal, this search for Bertha Levine. So the fact that, and it was her mom's recipe, and it said Bertha Levine's deceased mother, and they named her. Her name was Marie, and it was some other last name. Oh my gosh! So I'm like,
so funny.
I have to make this recipe. What if this is the recipe? How amazing would that be?
Right.
So I made the bagels 2 days ago, and it just tastes like a bagel. It doesn't taste.
Did her recipe call for boiling it or baking it?
Yeah. So I tried it at there were not enough eggs in it. It wasn't even yellow. It was a great bagel though. I was really surprised. It was very easy to make.
Good.
I tried, when I baked it, I kept on looking at it in increments and I was like, this is just not it. I could tell right away it was not it. As soon as I boiled it, I knew. Even if I had put it straight to baking, I don't think it would have, like if I had skipped the boiling process, I don't think it was a bagel. The Birmingham bagel. So that's when I called up Joel and said, what else can we do? And he kept on trying to get me to try this very complicated recipe. I mean, it requires overnight things, which I'm like, so
nobody wants to do anything that requires a 24-hour anything. Yeah.
So he got me to, so then I messaged Deb, I forget her last name, but she's the food blogger behind Smitten Kitchen. And I do her challah recipe.
Okay.
Right? And I said, here's a conundrum. Can you help me? And then I messaged Stella Parks, who does, I've got to look at her. She literally does, she's like a master baker, went to CIA. She's in Food and Wine magazine.
So you don't know these people. You're just randomly messaging
No,
them.
they're like professionals. She's Serious Eats Test Kitchen in Brooklyn. She does like food mysteries. So, of course, none of them have gotten back to me.
Oh, food mystery. This should be perfect for her.
Food mystery. So anyways, but then I've come to the conclusion that it's actually challah in the shape of a bagel. And I found this new challah recipe that's just egg yolks. It's 8 egg yolks.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
And so I'm going to, I mean, it's not obviously the recipe they made, but how many different challah recipes can there be? Really?
There's a lot.
Right. But I'm going to try this one. I bought a food scale so I could also make sure to get the measurements right.
Yeah.
Because, 1 cup is not necessarily how many grams of flour.
Wait, let's back up a second. For a traditional bagel recipe, do you use yeast?
Yes, but they do it in a very different way.
And so does it have to rise at all? Because, those bagels seem so dense. That's the other thing.
Not very long, like 20 minutes. So you do like flour, sugar, salt, yeast, and you mix it up, right? Just the dry ingredients. And then you add in water. And
that's interesting.
And then you add in more flour, and then you let it rise after you knead it.
Yeah.
And then that's when, and it keeps on saying, don't let it rise any more than this. And you punch it down. It's like 30 minutes because I punched it down and cut it in half and let it stand for about 10 minutes. And then I separated it into like 16 different pieces and made a bunch of bagels.
Wow. You made 16 bagels out of that recipe?
Yeah, but it was just the perfect amount. Right. And it was so much easier than I thought. And I didn't know how it was going to taste because it was from a Sisterhood cookbook from Alabama.
It was from Bertha Levine. And I haven't tried the Franks and Hot Potato Salad or whatever it's called. But
right. So anyway, I also messaged my friend Irvin, who has a blog called eatthelove.com, and he is a master baker also. Like he gets paid to blog. He gets to review kitchen stuff. So he said, "Oh, I've never heard of Brody's," and I'm like, "No, you will never have heard of Brody's. It's not like Second Avenue Deli. You will have heard of Jason's Deli before of Brody's."
Right.
And I'm not trying to knock Brody's, but it was a deli in Birmingham, Alabama. There are Jews there, but we are not known for our delis. It's not like Brooklyn. So anyway, So I am going to make this challah recipe this week, and I'm going to
so
pour
impressed.
back in.
Well, and also, but are you going to adjust the challah to the bagel recipe? Like, because challah you have to let rise. I have to let mine rise for at least 2 hours. So I would assume that you're not going to do that.
I think that no, I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna make challah as it's challah.
Oh, you're gonna make challah and see if it tastes like the bagel.
No, I'm gonna make a bagel shape out of the challah dough.
Okay.
Right? And then I'm gonna bake it and see what happens.
I got you. So you're gonna follow it to the T, but just make it in the shape of a bagel.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll see what happens from there.
Did you try Googling Chagel just to see if that's a thing?
So there's a brioche bagel that exists, and that's what they recommended to me. But brioche doesn't use all these eggs.
Yeah.
Brioche is like more butter.
It's not like they used food coloring. It wasn't that sort of yellow. It was definitively yellow, though.
Yes. So I got into this argument with Mommy and Daddy. I was like, it was yellow. Mommy was like, it is not yellow. Daddy's like, it was yellow. You know. And she goes, I don't remember it being yellow. It was white. I go, no, it was yellow.
Yellow. Yeah.
I'm sorry. You guys are older. They won't even Mommy doesn't like it when we say old. I remember.
Daddy should remember. He's the one who drove me there every Sunday morning, and we'd come back splitting the 13th that we got for the baker's dozen.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to make this happen.
I cannot wait. Please. This is the best story so far.
And Mommy's reaching back out to people from Birmingham to find out she can track down Bertha Levine because I told her the story yesterday.
I thought we tracked down Bertha's like granddaughter or something, ultimately.
No, we were kind of told to stop. I don't know. It felt like a little like mafia. Do not research Bertha Levine. I don't know why I get into my New York accent because we are so Southern, you know. Do not go past go. Don't look further into Bertha Levine's life. She could have been from New York. I don't know. We don't know anything about Bertha Levine.
We don't know, except for she makes 2 outstanding sought-after recipes now.
Right. Frank's not potato salad, which I'm going to make that for you for your 50th.
Please don't. Please don't. Let the cooking stop with the bagel. The Chagel.
So anyways, the kids have been enjoying the bagels. Murray eats them with Nutella, which of course Nutella on anything is delicious. And did I tell you about his food hoarding situation going on?
Well, I think that's been going on for a while, right? And he hides things.
He hides things, and he like Nutella and tortillas, but the issue is we have a roach problem.
Oh gosh,
it's awful, right? It freaks me out. And then the other night, Ruby got scared. I went to go lay in bed with her, and I fell asleep. And woke up about 2 a.m, and I hear like scratching in a corner.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh my God, is that a mouse? Right? I'm like, we already have roaches. Is that a mouse? And I swear to God, I hear squeaking and and I hear like scratching, right? Like me, and I was like, I'm not falling asleep. So I'm like, this is why we have Kabu, our Labrador Retriever, who literally will try and eat flies, and she successfully catches them. So I have to search the house for Kabu. She's in bed with Murray. I have to drag her out. Like she's like a teenager who had just woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, come on, Kabu, you're on. This is your job.
You've heard of a bird dog? This is a bug dog.
And so I'm like, you got to catch this mouse, Kabu. So I bring her into the room, and then Ruby's like, what's going on? And I go, okay, Ruby, I'm going to have to turn the light on. I think there's a mouse in this bag in this corner. I'm going to dump this stuff out and hopefully...
Wait, how did the bag get involved? So there was a bag in the corner, and it was scratching in the bag?
So there's
this is turning into a horror film.
Right.
I got to look away, but I can't.
It was 2 a.m.
Oh,
and I was like, this is my maternal responsibilities is to get rid of this mouse at 2 a.m. So, and there was no way I was falling back asleep. And I wasn't going to go leave her room and sleep somewhere else with a mouse in her room. So... Oh God. So yeah, there's this like gift bag that she had gotten for her birthday, and I didn't know if there was candy in there because at one point there was, and like they'd gotten Swedish fish, and then there's all this other stuff in the corner, but it sounded like it was like in the bag or near the bag. Or behind the wall. I didn't know where it was. So I brought her in there, Kabu, the dog, woke up Ruby. I said, we have to turn the light on. There might be a mouse. And she's like, all right. So then I, so I am so scared. And she's got this little stool from like birth that has Ruby, it's like the puzzle stool.
Yeah.
So I stand on the stool, which is like, 6 inches off the ground. I start moving stuff. I didn't see anything. And so I'm like, I'm going to have to dump the bag out. It's in the bag. There's a mouse in this bag. So I dump it out, and there's this smallest roach I've ever seen. And it was like, what's going on? Oh my God, they found me. And it started like darting back and forth across the room. And Cabe was just like sitting there staring at it. I'm like, eat the roach. So then, and it like ran back underneath something. And so Ruby's like, well, what are we going to do? And I go, I'll go downstairs. I'm going to get the the dust buster, right?
Gosh.
I'm going to suck up the roach. So I run downstairs, I grab it, I come back up, and we cannot find the roach. So I get back in the bed with her, and I'm staring at the ceiling, and she's staring at the ceiling, and she goes, are you scared, Mommy? And I go, do I look scared? She's like, yes. And I go, we're going to have to sleep in my room. So we gather our things.
Oh, gosh.
And go back into my room. And then eventually I fell back asleep. But I mean, I guess it
never found the roach.
Oh my God.
Okay, so ironically, the same thing happened. Well, not the same thing. Very similar thing happened to me this week, which is, anytime I've turned into you and Daddy is now me and Alan, right? How you used to call Daddy to get rid of every bug. No matter what bug I see, if Alan's at home, I'm like, Alan, come get this. I just can't deal. And roaches are the worst. So the other night I'm in bed, and I'm like looking at my iPad probably, and I look up, and there right above the television, I see a bug, right? But it's far away, so I can't tell, and it's not giant, so I can't tell if it's like a roach or I thought it was a stink bug. And stink bugs are so slow anyway. You just grab those.
Deal with stink bugs,
right.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel like getting out of bed in this case. So of course I'm like, Alan, there's a bug. And so he comes out, he looks, he goes, oh, it's a roach. I'm like, oh, I was like, oh my gosh. So it's like slowly walking across the ceiling, and it's like almost over the television, which is on this, contraption on the wall. So of course, I start to say to him, wait till it gets over the door frame, right? So that then at least if it falls and runs, it'll be in the bathroom, which is easier to find versus like in our room where there's a million places to hide. No, that doesn't happen. He takes a towel and he swats at it. It falls, and then it never lands.
It flew. It was a flying roach.
It could have been a flying roach,
worst.
but it didn't fly. We never saw it again. And I think it landed behind the TV and got stuck in like the little television arm, like the mechanical arm, or inside the component. And Alan's like standing on a chair, and he's looking in, and he's swatting the TV, thinking maybe it'll like it's like just, I go, I think it's trapped behind there, and it's going to like have a slow, painful death in the electronics. He's like, oh, well, and he walks away. I'm like, oh my gosh. So now there's a roach in the TV.
You got it. So
what do we do? I don't know.
So
what to do.
I've got bad news for you.
Oh no.
Number one, roaches don't get stuck. Those suckers can squeeze through anything. It's true. It's true.
Well, unless it landed on its back inside the component, then it
You're
really
right.
can't move. Or squeezed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they don't get stuck. You could also use the air compressor that you would use for your keyboard to shoot air back there, and it would scare it to like get out of its hiding place. But also,
like I have air compressor. Yeah.
This is the worst news of all.
Oh no.
Sometimes roaches make homes inside electronics because they're warm, and I know this because I have a roach problem, and we found a roach so we have this super nice coffee machine that we love. Like it grinds the beans per cup. And I opened up the drip pan, and there's a little friend in there, and I flip out. Aaron flips out. He takes the machine apart as much as he can to clean it.
Oh no.
And then we've called the bug people. This is number 3. And the bug guy came, and he goes, they may be hanging out in there inside the motor. And we got rid of it. I go, I want that out of my sight. And so my friend,
have you been grinding roaches in your coffee all this time?
I don't know. Stop.
Oh,
There is coffee
gross.
made out of poop. You know, the poop, like expensive poop coffee.
No.
Have you heard about that coffee?
No,
Go look
please
it up.
don't go down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
Please,
so
please.
so we had to get rid of the machine, and I thought I was like alone in this, and I started telling my friend McCalla about it, and she goes, a lot of people are having roach problems right now. I don't know if more people are home. There's more food. It's really hot this year. I just don't know I know a lot of people are having this problem. She said she was having a problem, and their pest control company told them they may need to get rid of their blender. Like they have like a Vitamix, and he said it might be living in the motor.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God, there's nothing grosser. But like a TV you can at least deal with because it's not like you're eating out of the television, but it's still pretty gross. But I don't think they're living
Well,
in
he's
your
not
TV.
right. And it did
fell.
fall in the TV. If you
Right.
imagine like the
Right
arm,
behind it.
yeah, like
Yeah,
right
I
behind it,
know.
there's all yes. So and it's not warm in there. It's just metal.
Oh
So
my
it
God.
could be even colder.
I'm thoroughly grossed out. So do you have an Airbnb that we can live in? I feel like we need to move out of our homes and fumigate it for 5 days. Like, I don't know what's worse, your kids having lice or your house having roaches. It's pretty 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
Great. Now I'm like got my feet up and I'm scratching my head. This is horrible.
So do you have a good Chagel recipe you want to share with us? Whether it's a beloved challah recipe you think would make a great bagel recipe would make a great challah, or something in between, share it with us. And don't forget to share with your friends, assist and tell love. Go text a neighbor and say, come, go listen to these sisters. They make me so happy.
As always, this has been Amanda and Allison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.